Hey, besties. I'm Envision Speaks, and this is,
Chanel Sweetz.
and would like to say, welcome to Envision the Sweet Life podcast.
So, welcome to episode 4 University Pros, Hoes, and Woes. We are so excited to talk about all things college life, all things experiences that we both had. But first, we want to start with a story time because I think in episode 1, we asked if anybody wanted to hear our randomness story about how Nicole leaves me often. And this is just one example of that. And I guess I'll start it off. So, this was the first week of college, right? This is like welcome week.
Correct?
And we were walking through, I don't know, East Lansing. Like, I'm not even sure
Yeah.
where we were. I think we were just walking around with our friends, our new friends actually, because we had just met everybody except for each other. And we met these random people in an alleyway. I don't remember how many
Yeah.
people it was, but I just remember like,
Six or
I don't know.
seven.
Yeah, it was a big group of
Like six
people.
or seven.
Some dudes, some girls, and I can't remember. I think we like party with them a little bit. Like we went to different locations, we went to different parties, and then somehow we ended up at an apartment complex. And at the time, we didn't know what this apartment complex was because we had just gotten there. We eventually lived there actually for a long time, but we ended up at this apartment complex, and I think this is when Nicole decided to leave with
Yeah.
said one or two people.
Hey, don't judge me. Number one, I wasn't by myself. We had a friend that came up from high school to come visit us on our first quote unquote week of college, but it really wasn't a week. Like at our school, they don't do it anymore, but it was like they gave us a full week to prepare ourselves to get ready to attend classes. So during that time, you literally are doing nothing but mixing and mingling and getting your books and your accounts together and all that good stuff. So we had one of our friends come up during that time as well. That was our high school friend. And as Chanel said, we were doing the welcome week thing, going around, going to different parties, mixing and mingling with people, met somebody in the alley, they told us it was some party or something going on in some random apartment complex, and we went to it. And after that, I guess I got excited because one of the people that I met said that they owned a Wii. And during this time, it just literally came out. Nobody had it. It was so expensive to own a Wii. And I wanted to play it. And he didn't live on college. Actually, he didn't even go to our college. He was a local, so about 20-25 minutes or so away from the actual college campus. And I wanted to go. I wanted to go play the Wii. So I didn't tell my best friend, though she's very protective. I just left and got in this random man's car with his random friends, and I went to his random house where I had no idea. I didn't know my way around the university yet. I for dang sure didn't know my way around the city of Lansing. But at that point, I had no fear. What college kid really does when they're first getting started and getting their first taste of adulthood? So I left. And eventually, my best friend contacted me and was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you left with a random person." And I'm like, "Well, just pull up." Like, I don't know. She's like, "Where are you at?" I don't know. I can figure her out. Like,
Well, because
so
cell phones weren't what they are today. So you didn't have like location services. Like
no.
we had not even, I mean, they weren't flip phones. They were like those slide phones with the keyboards. So they weren't any sort of like high technology. So I literally didn't know you went. I actually never knew you went for a week. I had no clue. I don't think I've ever asked you why you got in the car, to be honest. This is actually my
Yeah.
first time actually hearing why you left. So that's funny. You invite
Yeah.
nobody else to play the Wii, but that's fine.
I'm sorry, it was all about a video game. I used to be a gamer in back in the day, so I was like, "Hey, it's time. It's time to roll. I need to see what this thing is about." So it was fun. It was a long night. It was a long week. Let me not say that. It was a long week, but it was a great time, great experiences. But I will say this, guys. Obviously, safety is always first. But on the other side, flip side, life is you only have one life. Yellow, live it to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? So during that time I definitely lacked some boundaries. I definitely was very extremely adventurous, but I still have that side of me. So yeah, I randomly left her again during college, and had no clue where I was at. Thank God nothing happened to me and I was safe. I wouldn't advise that, but be sure to always at least let somebody know where you're at.
Yeah, I would say too, but that was a different time. Like, I'm not saying bad stuff didn't happen, but I think we just felt very safe where we were. And
Right.
I think it is fair to also say, like, those people, while they were random that day, they actually become our friends. Like, we knew them for a very long time after that. Um, we saw them quite often. So,
Could
and I don't
rely
think
on
any of us
them.
even, I was like, I don't think any of us even dated them. We just like they just became just really cool guys that we knew who knew the area. And I guess I never told my side like what we did. So like after you guys left, we ended up just staying. Again, I think we were in someone's apartment who was not one of those guys. Like
No,
I
it
don't even
wasn't
know
those
whose
guys.
apartment. I was like, I
No.
had no clue whose house we were in, but we were there till like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and we were all just talking. And I think it was like four of us, and then two of them. Um, and we just was hanging out, like just talking and learning. And they was telling us about Lansing. We tried to figure out where you guys were, but eventually y'all came back, and then we all headed back to the safety of our campus. Um, so yeah, that was a lot of fun actually. I
Definitely
miss college
was.
a little bit.
Yeah, those were good times, good experiences. I would definitely say it was the best space I've ever been involved in for networking and getting to know people organically. Like it's some pros, and we're gonna get into that in this episode. But there's definitely some pros to going to college, and I'm grateful for the experience that I have. Though I believe that it was an overpriced experience.
Yeah. Let me get my dog to wake up. Hold on. All right, sorry,
So
because he
look,
was having a doggy dream.
you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? Where's the food? Where's the snacks? We need something going on in this dream. Okay. So I guess we can segue into that. So, do you think college was worth it? Like,
Mm, yes, I do. I do think college was worth it. I think the experiences that I got and the people that I met made it worth it. Now, I'm sure we'll get into the woes, the student loans, all the other stuff. But
right.
in the moment, you weren't thinking about that. Like honestly, you get a refund check, you're like, I got some money. You probably should use it for better things than what we did. But you got a refund check, your bills are paid, you're with your best friends. There's no rules. There's laws, like follow the law, but there's no
Right.
rules. You do what you want to do. You have the experiences you want to have. You go to the places. You are responsible for yourself, and your education. The food in the first few years was really good. So no, it is worth it. I think it was worth it for me. What about you?
Um, so I guess I'll be like the devil's advocate to a certain degree. Yes, the things that you are talking about, I definitely think that it's worth it. In regards to what college is supposed to do, put you on a higher status or stature, leaving the university, of course, if you receive a degree, being able to make more money, yada, yada, yada. Um, Unfortunately for me and my degree, I haven't actually seen any benefits from being a college graduate, which is very unfortunate because it costs a lot of money up front to go. Sometimes I believe that climbing the ladder at an earlier age, I might have been a lot further off in my company than I am now. But I also know that I picked up a lot of different life skills from college. That even during, I can give an example, like even during like the pandemic era where I had a cousin who was going to college during that time, some of the life skills that he lacks because of the lack of interpersonal relationships in the college experience has kind of hindered him in the workforce in today's world. Like um, being able to go to different social events or join different activity boards, or it forces you to not only quote unquote sell yourself, but to put yourself in unfamiliar environments to be able to accept the pros of, the pros and cons of being able to actually receive the blessing, being able to actually be a part of the experience, or have to accept the denial. So being able to deal with rejection as well. So I think there's some life skills that I definitely gained from it. But in terms of actually putting myself in a different status or stature going into the workforce, it wasn't as beneficial as it has been in previous seasons, previous generations. I would say that.
Yeah, I have had a very different experience post college. But that's probably, I mean, and to be fair, it's not really even to do to undergrad. I went on to get my master's and then I did a PhD program. I didn't finish, but almost. So I think for me, undergrad was worth it for the experiences, right? Like you just said, all the things that sets you up for the next stages of life.
Right.
Whereas advanced degrees are what you're supposed to use to get, in the door, through the door, past the door. And while, yes, my degrees have gotten me some great jobs, like my resume, I think, is very, very nice because of the degrees that I have. However, I do find myself, like a lot of people, struggling to find like the job that you think you're promised because you know, get a master's. Or a PhD or all the other things, where you can find somebody who is really good at one thing or has a trade, went to a trade school or just have skills that I do not possess because I decided to study a book instead of learning possibly valuable skills. And of course, my degree is good for me and my field. Like I can't do it without it. However, I do think my field is severely underpaid for all of the money they
Mm-hmm.
make us spend on college. And there's a lot of people who have just really skills that I don't possess that make a lot more money than me. And it, it's kind of unfortunate that I chose
Right.
that path sometimes. I'm like, I wish I would have done X, Y, Z because I think I'd be ahead a little further in life.
Right. And just as a reminder to our audience, maybe we should go over what degrees we have and what jobs we're currently in, just in case they haven't watched previous episodes before. So for me, I have a BA, a Bachelor's of Arts in Health and Society, with a minor in psychology. Um, Post graduate school or post, secondary school, I ended up going to a bank. Never, by the way, sidebar, never have I ever, you remember that game, Chanel? That's a college game. Never have I ever been asked for my degree, though it is on my resume. Nobody has asked me for this piece of paper that I worked for 4 years, actually five, to get, and it's very unfortunate because it should be like, okay, you get this. I think it should be, you get this degree, you get this higher salary of a job. Like how you have the ranges, they give you the ranges, they give you the options, but it seems like even with a degree, they start you off at the lowest level, even if you fight for yourself. Because I'm not a person that walks into an interview and tries to accept the first offer they give me. So I understand that little game they play too. They lowball you, and then you got to kind of sell yourself to be able to get what you're worth. But they really don't look as the first degree level, a bachelor's degree, as an asset. They're looking for your experience. Like, I'll get into that a little bit later. But go ahead. What is your degree, and why do you have to have your degree to practice what you do?
So my bachelor's is in psychology. I have a master's in professional counseling. I have another master's in psychology, and I have all but dissertation in general performance psychology or a PhD program. So a lot of school, a lot of time. I don't know if it was time wasted, but some of it I kind of regret did not choosing a different path sometimes. And so in my field, I have to have a degree. Like I am by trade a therapist and I have to, have a license.
Right.
Um, but to get to that stage, I have to have the degrees to get to that point, right? So I almost every job I've had, especially like with government jobs, I have had to show them my transcripts. Um, So that does come in handy for that. And I will say, like, I'm applying for a lot of federal jobs right now, and transcripts are the most important, and you do get into a higher salary range, which is awesome. But getting into the door of the federal government, and that's a whole other podcast, is kind of hard. I've gotten into state governments, I've gotten into county governments very easily, but the federal government has been really hard. But anyways, so in my field uniquely, I'm finding different ways to do what I want to do without needing all of the requirements. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm looking for different ways to branch out in therapy. And so getting different certifications and different things. So not going back to college, of course, but just using those skills. Because I'm not going to say that college was all bad when it came to academics. It was great. I just think some of it was a little waste of time. And
Right,
that's why I do like the graduate programs, because it's very like, this is what you're focusing on because this is what you want to
right.
study. If that makes sense.
Niche specific, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I agree. Like some of the stuff. I mean, I'm trying to think of dumb classes that we had to take.
That one class that was 8 o'clock in the morning that everybody took because it was an easy grade, but nobody actually knew what the class was about.
Right.
Did you take that one? I was like, everybody,
Yeah,
it was eight
I
o'clock
with
in the
the
morning till
teacher.
like three. Yeah,
The
but I
teacher
like,
that it was all about the teacher, man. Oh, that's another thing too. Make sure you know, I guess, what you want to study. As you can see, different degrees, different circumstances, different jobs, different outcomes, right? So I think before even going into the college workforce, it's important for you to actually like have an idea what your long-term plans is, because I know when I went to college initially, I did think I was doing knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't truly explore myself enough during high school, which most people don't, to know that this is truly what will bring me joy and fulfillment in life. So I decided to kind of venture off into other things. But having a clear cut understanding of what it is that you want to do out of life, if I would have had that knowledge um, at an earlier stage of life, or waited, I'm not saying that's the best thing to do, but waited to go to college until I knew that it would actually be beneficial for me. It depends on the degree. Some things you need to have the degree in order to even work in that field, and other things, I think, it was just what our parents kind of just told us to do. It's the next step of life is going to college. So, okay, guess I got to go back to school because it's what I was told to do. But if I knew the first thing that I really ventured me off into this journey, if you guys listened before, I went from personal trainer, motivational speaker, author, all that good stuff. But if I knew that I was really going to stick with wanting to teach people how to, take better health of themselves and go from there on a journey. I mean, my personal training certificate took me less than, you know, 3 months to get. And I needed no degree to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, and it was a lot less money. And honestly, I made more money from this niche specific trade that I have, the skill set, than I did from the Fortune 500 company job that I worked for right after college. And honestly, shoot, even the job that I work for, the Fortune 500 company I work for now, I still make less money than I did when I was in my trade. So I think if you have an understanding of what you want to do and really understand, does it require a degree for you to have it, or does it require a certificate, or trade educational schooling, that you can you can save a lot of time and a lot of money. But also, I believe that, overall, I would not change it, at least now, because fortunately enough, I was willing to apply for different grants and scholarships. So I was less than $15,000 worth of debt, unlike most people after college graduation. So instead of being $150,000 plus in debt for the great experiences, I can take a $15,000 L to learn some life skills and pick up some friends and networks and stuff like that. So I'm okay with it.
yeah. And as somebody who has a lot more student loan debt than you do, I
Right.
am well above that $100,000 student loan debt situation. I've accepted that though. I the only part I disagree with you on is that you should. I agree, but I agree to disagree. I'll say it that way because while I think it is beneficial to have a path, I think we both went into college as engineering majors our first week. And
Right.
then I remember like a month later, I was like, I don't want to do this. And so I was undecided for my first year. I had no major. And then I found Psych 101 and I was like, I really like this. And that was the beginning of the end for me. So I do therapy with a lot of especially young people who, they want to go to college, but they don't know what they're going to do. And I think college should be a point of exploring and going to different classes and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't work because you don't know what you don't know. However, if you don't have the capital, like just like a business, if you don't have the capital to explore and take your time in college and you don't want the student loans, which I think everybody should really strive not to have if you can,
Right.
then take the time, like Nicole said. A lot of people take gap years where they try to figure out life. Take a gap year, figure it out then, take a workshop, see if this
Right.
field is good for you, and then go to college or go to community college or junior college. I know that saves a lot of people a lot of money and they get out a lot faster. Um, yeah, I would definitely, whatever experience you want to have. Because
Yeah.
you mentioned like our parents pushed us to go to college, and they did. I didn't have any other options. My mom was like, "You're going to college," like that was it, and it had to be in state. She wanted me to leave the state, so I knew I was going to college. But with my kids, I don't. I'm not. I will encourage them to go, but if they're like, "Mom, I want to be a YouTuber or something," and they got what it takes, go for it. I don't care. Like, do what you want to do, live your life. Because guess what? I love my parents, but nobody is helping me pay these student loans. Okay,
Right.
so
Okay.
that's on me and me alone. So it is what it is.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah, I agree too. But I know if there's any younger listeners out there as well, I did get an opportunity, and I wish I would have explored that a lot more in high school than I actually did. But like, there's programs out there or for high school kids to kind of just understand different career fields and stuff like that. So like I remember one time I went to Lawrence Tech, which is a local architecture school where I got to truly like experience what it would be like to be an architect, which I thought I would honestly enjoy, and I still think I would enjoy it.
Hmm.
But in reality, the season that we graduated was right when the housing market crashed, so building houses was not a priority, or building structures was not a priority. So I didn't foresee, not, young mind, not knowing that the market would eventually turn around. Of course, I didn't foresee that as being a long term smart career path for me to take because right now it's a crisis. It's a crisis, and I didn't pursue that. But being able to get that experience during college, I mean in high school, gave me an opportunity to at least feel the career path. And there's a lot more programs out there for all different types of careers. So I would say don't wait until, also in addition to that, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I would say don't wait to college to explore, the classroom book setting up version of that degree. Get some hands-on experience, and there's people out there, and there's career paths out there, there's programs out there that does allow for young aspiring people. Shoot, even Delta, we have every summer we do co-ops for high school kids for all different positions, from technicians, aircraft mechanics to gate agents, whatever. They have co-ops for these kids to come in to get an understanding of how the job operates. And I I didn't know that growing up. I mean, not for I didn't know how major it was. Of course, I stumbled across the one program, but I didn't realize that this is a thing in companies in the summertime. You know?
No, yeah, I agree. I agree. Finding resources and finding people already in that field, I think is probably most important. I know a lot of high school people aren't looking to network, like that's not really on their minds. But
Right.
if you reached out to somebody, like if I knew to reach out to somebody in this field, and they looked at me and they're like, Chanel, you're not like a bachelor's degree. If you want to be a therapist, you're going to need a master's. And if you want to make a lot of money, you're going to need a PhD. I don't know if I would have continued. Like, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Just because I spent a lot of time in school. I think I missed some stuff. I don't think I regret anything, but and I have a lot of wisdom and a lot of things that I want to give to other people. And so if
Right.
you are in this field and you want somebody to talk to, let me know. I'm here to talk, and I know Nicole's got a ton of information and a lot of resources and a lot of knowledge on a lot of stuff, to be honest. So,
I've
like we
explored
both
a lot
do.
of different lanes. Yeah. She was the one
Exactly.
that picked the path and stuck with it. I was the one that touched the path and bounced on. Okay, you guys. So
Look, now
definitely,
I'm rolling around, so
there's nothing wrong with rolling the dice. All right, you guys. If you want something new, you can always, as long as you got breath in your body, you can try something new. So um yeah, but yeah, we are definitely here to support you. Definitely feel free to reach out. I know we said it in previous podcasts, but Envision speaks. Envision Sweets at gmail.com. You can reach out. You got our social media handles. We'll drop those at the end of the episode as well. Feel free to reach out to us personally. I have no problem, giving you some advice or guiding you in a direction at least that I'm knowledgeable about, or letting you even know I'm honest enough to let you know I don't know. Maybe I can try to do a little bit of research with you to help you find somebody or put you in the hands of somebody that I know. So yeah, we're here to support you on your journey as well. Both young and old. You don't have to be a high school student. So if for some reason you just want to switch up the game, we're here to support you as well.
hmm. So, what would you say was the best thing about college? Like, what is one thing or things that you did that you will hold dear to you for the rest of your life?
Um, so ironically, I would say some of my volunteer experiences. Like, I guess I'm gonna get a little personal. But like, I was a sexual assault victim during my younger years of life. And our college offered a program, sexual assault crisis intervention team. And these are things that are all over the world. You can be involved in it, during your college experiences or as a grown adult. But being able to be a part of that team and being able to have, the line to be able to help survivors out and the training to be able to help survivors out. And throughout that process, I honestly even did event called Operational Free Fall, which it's an event that's thrown every year, still to this day, where we raise money for sexual assault victims, well, survivors. That's actually what they're considered, but sexual assault survivors, and all over the world. After we get our donations and stuff, the people that were advocates for this program, they skydive at the exact same time once a year on the same day. So even just being in that community, being able to find people that have different walks of life, have been survivors or just advocates for program, being able to be involved in that community, it definitely one showed me that I wasn't alone. Two, it was a way for me to be able to support others that experience the same things that I've been through. Three, to be able to not only change my mindset about being a victim, but becoming a survivor and standing in it. And allowing me to, just to grow as a person, to like realize that the things that happen to you in life, they actually happen for you. So I was able to turn a negative into a positive. And I think that experience was great. Obviously, all the amazing people that I met, some of my best relationships came from the college experience. Some of them I wish I could have back in my life. Honestly, I wish we could reconnect, and that just takes a phone call. But I met some amazing people in college, whether I'm still, extremely close to them, not or not in this season. I have mad love for the people that I met in college. Being in an environment of like-minded individuals who are passionate and inspiring, whether it be different paths or not. Um, it was and just being able to grow together. It was an experience to be had. That was one of my, I would say, my two top things that I loved about college: the people I met and some of the activities I got involved in.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm gonna say your number three would probably be your sorority life. I mean,
Yeah,
because I was also your sorority sister, or
you know
am,
it.
I guess technically there's a disclaimer in. Um, and while this may not be my top thing, but I do think our sorority adventure together was special because we did it together, and I know that was something that was on the top of our minds when we first got there, and we actually had two very different paths, and we ended up in the same path for very much the same reason. And our experience was, I think it was very special as well to kind of put that in there too. We met some amazing people, people that are in our lives today. But my best friend being my best
Yes.
friend since middle school all the way through so all the things in college, through sororities, through now the children and the moving across the world that we are. So I would say college, what I take from it too, like you said, the people, by far the people. A lot of people that I met, I am still friends with today. I actually moved here with one of the people I met in college, and the experiences. But I would have to say, I would take from it is the knowledge I gained. Like I know I kind of talk smack about like wasting time in undergrad with when it comes to academics, but I do think it really did set me up for all that I needed to know going forward, because while some of those classes were a little like, why am I in this class? I learned a lot of random stuff. I'll say that much. I paid a
Right.
lot of money in those credits to learn some random information that I can use in my life today. And I actually remember some of it. I actually ran across some old textbooks the other day and I was like, I don't know what this is for, but it's in here. So yeah, I got a whole
Right.
library of college books out there.
Definitely. Of course, those sorority sisters out there, you're definitely included in the people that I love and enjoy, that I was grateful for meeting the experiences that I had for sure. So, and doing it with my best friend is nothing like it. So I'm always grateful for you. You've been a sister in every way, shape, and form well before you became my sorority sister. So I'm grateful for everything you've been to me in life. But we're not going to go through that today. I'll end up start crying.
I
But
know, I know. Well, we are on limited time.
I know, right? But in reality, like the skill sets, I want to mention that too. The skill sets that I was able to pick up from college, because when you go to college, from the transition from high school to college, high school, you got a teacher telling you where's your assignment not turned in, they calling your parents, yada 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 yada, blah blah blah. College, nobody's checking for you. If you don't, there's no attendance line. So you have to learn how to manage your time. There are certain classes that, like how she said, we had the one class that everybody took because it was ECA. Like, I didn't have to attend that class because it was an ECA. So that was time that I got to buy back in my schedule. But also, I had to make that decision. I had to make the decision of some classes, not only did I attend class, but I had to go see the TA afterwards. I had to, go to tutors afterwards. Like I had to know that in order for me to get the grade that I'm expecting to see, or at least pass, you know what I'm saying? Like I need to put in additional work. Not only the work that they're saying should be a part of the curriculum, but also I need to do additional studies because it's just not clicking for me. So having to manage that and understanding how that applies in the real world, if you are aspiring to find your path in life, you're going to have to manage multiple things. As we described on the last episode, our episode of Don't Quit Your Day Job while aspiring to go, be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to manage the time between making money but going after your dream and knowing how to balance that throughout your day. How much time do I put in towards this? Or what else can I do in order for me to be able to gain more leverage in this area, this area? If I didn't go to college, I wouldn't understand how to even step or navigate that space, let alone be able to actually use it and propel myself forward while making sure that I don't sink myself into a hole. You know what I'm saying? So like
Hmm.
there are some great skill sets that I've learned throughout college. Like I said, networking wise, um, believe it or not, I used to be more on the introverted side. You know what I'm saying? Though I was in high school as somebody that played sports, I didn't have a mass amount of friends. I had four, well, technically 6. I'll give Mill and grade A credit. But I had 6 friends. Well, no, I'm including myself. 5 friends in high school. You know what I'm saying? That was my core friends. And outside of that, I wasn't hanging out with them and their friends, I wasn't really trying to make friends and connect. You know what I'm saying? But being in a new environment, and I'm grateful that you made this possible, because if it was up to me, we would have stayed in the same dorm, probably would have been roommates. But like, she wanted to create her own path, and that's cool. So I let her do her thing, but that forced me to get out my bubble and interact with people myself as well, because we were on totally opposite sides of campus. But if I wasn't in an environment like that, I think going into a workforce or a workspace, it would be difficult. I just moved from Detroit to Atlanta with my job position. Yes, though I'm in the same company, I'm in a completely different environment where I have to now gain and leverage myself in the workforce to be able to get promotions. And fortunately enough for me, I've only been here for 6 months, and I've already gotten a new job position. But if I did not know how to navigate new spaces and put myself out there and be able to be personable and allow myself that freedom, allowing people to, either rock with me or not, I would still be in this bubble, and Lord knows that I may not even have the opportunity, might have the skill set and the talent to do something more, but don't have the courage inside of me to put myself out there. So like, those things I really picked up from college, and that was not something that I had in high school. So there are some great skill sets that I've learned throughout college. And I think that alone, that gym alone, those life skills, man, I mean, that was worth the money. That's
Mm-hmm.
definitely worth.
Yeah. So we got to wrap up, but my final question to you is, would you do it over again? Would you do college again, knowing what you know now?
Absolutely. I would. From the parties to my homies to the mistakes to the party. Say no, just play.
Not
To
wrong.
the even to the classes, to what can at times feel like wasting money, as I keep reiterating, though it is some woes associated with college. Overall, the experience was life changing for me. So I would do it over again. Would I do a master's or a PhD? Potentially. Maybe not so willingly. But yeah, I would
You still
definitely
can.
do it again. Yeah, I know. Look, I got time. I got breath. I got
Still
breath in my
can.
body. And it's a
There you go.
possibility. Like, I hate to even say it. As much as, the dread of student loans hangs over your head, especially once you're in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
um and making that decision to go back to school once you've been out of it. I will tell y'all that too. Sidebar: my best friend graduated college and went straight back a week later. I was like, you on your
It was
own.
4 weeks later.
Girl, stop. I don't care what you talk about. She went back right away.
Was
I
like
don't
it
care
was
what.
4 weeks later, and then between my master's and my PhD, it was 6 weeks. So I had some breaks.
They give you more breaks at your workforce than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, geez, so peace. I would say, okay, you on your own, buddy. I said, I got this one degree. They told my parents told me to go get a degree.
Look,
I'm
if I
I
if I hadn't continued, I wouldn't have. I knew that about myself. If I take a break, I'm not going to do this. And
right.
in my field, like I said, I didn't really have a choice. So,
But yes,
um,
even as much just sidebar once again, as much stuff as I give, college, there are a lot of pros to it, and I could honestly see myself going further on in my education if I see um a need for it, and I do see a need for it. To be honest with you, it's just timing.
no, I get you. And I would do it all over again too, for the same reasons.
Yeah.
I know we didn't have any like hose specifically. It was just a fun title. But if you, I don't know, if if you want
I don't know. She's speaking for
episode on
herself.
the social the social aspects of college, let
I
us
hope.
know. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation about all the dating in college. There we go. This is gonna be turned into a college podcast.
Okay.
Just let us know if you want to know some of our social stories, because that's a therapy session right there.
Come on
Uh,
now. Look, I
a
just
few
gotta tell
therapy
y'all.
sessions.
I just gotta tell y'all one quick part. I'm not gonna go into the details of it, but I remember one time I had this one guy that came to visit, and he was there, and Chanel and their relationship, right? They had a joking relationship, so they would talk stuff to each other. And then he left, and another dude came, right? And Chanel started coming in the room and talking stuff to him, right? Because she thought it was the same guy. I'm like, oh my gosh, she messing up. Like, homie, that's not him. But like, yeah, your girl has some stories, social stories. We'll keep it that way. Some social
Oh my
stories to
goodness.
tell. So if y'all do want to hear about some of them social stories, I'm willing to go into it, okay? Because I'm not ashamed of my past, and I definitely had a great time in college. Okay, guys.
As you should, have, and as you should. All right, guys. So, like we said, you can find us at envisionsweets@gmail.com. And my social media, so I was wrong. I don't know my handles. So on Instagram, it's csweets4. But on TikTok, apparently it's Chanel Sweets. So find me there. All right.
And on TikTok, Instagram, you can find me at Envision Speaks. We thank you all for watching our episode today. To find the podcast handles on social media, on Instagram, it's going to be Envision the Sweet Life podcast. And on TikTok, it is Chanel.
Envision Sweets podcast. I know we need to make that the same thing. We'll work on
Right.
that.
Don't worry, it will switch up. But if you're following us right now in this moment, or probably in the next 2 weeks or so, it's gonna be that, okay, guys?
I give us some time. Give us some grace. Thank
Please
you.
do.
We'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.